What's going on, guys? Today we'll be doing the adapter pattern, right? So what is the adapter pattern? So it provides a middle layer so that we can connect things that are incompatible, okay? So we have two things that are incompatible. They don't work together, so we need some kind of adapter in the middle to be able to connect them so that they work together. So we got this first example here. There's no adapter needed. Let's say it's like an extension cord. You can connect it straight up and it works just fine. Okay, so there's another example here. So let's say you have a two-pronged outlet or charger or something, and you need to plug it into a three-pronged outlet. Let's say you travel somewhere. That's not going to work, right? So you need some kind of adapter to put it in the middle so that you can connect your maybe American two-pronged charger into, I think that's like Brazilian charger to make it work. Okay, so here's an example that I've created here. It's a weather app to illustrate the adapter pattern. So let's say we want to create a weather app that gets the temperature and shows it to our users. Okay, so we have one server here. Let's say this is our server, and we implement an interface or declare an interface here that is called temp, and we need to get the temperature. It returns a double, right? And it's called get temp. However, when we call out to another system, or this is a separate library that we're pulling in, and we want to get the temperature from that system to bring it into our system, their interface is a little bit different. It returns temperature, but it returns a string in this case. So we need to do something to be able to have these connect in an elegant way, and that's where the adapter pattern comes in. So let's go ahead and look at this example in code. Okay, so like I just showed you, here is a temperature interface, and we want to get a double, right? Because temperature could be, with decimals in it. And we pass in a string location, maybe that's the city, whatever. This is just the interface, right? So then we implement this with Fahrenheit temperature, because right now I reside in America, so that means we use Fahrenheit. So I return 80 here for the temperature, just as an example here. Okay, so here's the Fahrenheit temperature that implements the temperature interface. Cool, so my app's working great for American users, but outside of America, they use Celsius. So how can I get Celsius to work in my application in an elegant way? So let's say I have this external API that I call that's called external Celsius API, right? So it has a public string get temp, and you pass in the city, and it returns a string here. It still gets the temperature, and it returns in Celsius. However, it returns a string, right? So if you look at my temperature interface, it returns a double. So those two are not going to work, right? So what I need to do is create a Celsius adapter. This is where the adapter pattern comes in. So what I do is I create an adapter and I implement the interface that I know about, right? So I know about the temperature interface. That's the one I'm using. So I create an adapter that implements that because I want it to plug and play into my application. Okay, so I override the method get temperature with the double, because that's what my application and my users expect. I pass in this location, but then now I've declared this API that's a Celsius one. And then I call the get temp here, okay, with the city, and I pass in location for my app, okay, and then it returns back a string. However, I need a double, right? So I parse that string to a double here and then return it, okay? So how can I use this in an actual client? So here's a client example. So let's say I'm in New York City. I pass in an argument to see whether it needs to be Fahrenheit or Celsius. Basically, if it's Fahrenheit, or if I pass in an F, I'll return true is Fahrenheit here. And then I have my interface here. I've declared it. And then if it's Fahrenheit, then I use the Fahrenheit temperature. Else, I need to use Celsius. So then my temperature here is going to be equal to the new Celsius adapter here. So this is where the adapter pattern comes in. So I get the temperature in my double format that this temperature interface expects. And then I print it out here, temperature.getTemperature, okay? So let's run this, see what happens. Okay, and in my run configuration, I've changed it to Celsius, so I print out temp is in Celsius here, so that gets here. And then my temp in New York City is 27 degrees. Okay, so that's returned there. Cool. Hopefully that made sense. Adapter patterns, fairly intuitive, but maybe a little bit tricky at first. But keep practicing it. You'll definitely get it, and I hope you can use it in your applications in the future. So thanks a lot. Please subscribe, like, and I'll post more videos on software engineering and leadership. Talk to you later.